It has been said multiple times at this point that Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel, which will be introduced in the MCU this March, will be the most powerful superhero we have seen yet in the cinematic universe. This means she is more powerful than characters like Doctor Strange or even Thor with Stormbreaker. However, this does not mean that she is invincible, and today we will be talking about and breaking down some of Captain Marvel's very few weaknesses. Unlike DC, very few Marvel characters have very unique weaknesses like Superman's kryptonite. Instead, there are certain abilities or characters that they are weaker against than others. There's not a single thing that weakens them directly. Captain Marvel actually has several hindrances when going up against certain characters that have already been introduced in the MCU. One of Captain Marvel's most powerful and staple abilities is her ability to absorb energy. However, one of her key weaknesses is also that this absorption has a limit. If Captain Marvel exerts too much energy, she can actually lose her powers for a period of time. At one point in the comic books, Carol Danvers actually uses her energy absorption to help absorb parts of the sun. She did this in order to save the Earth, but after doing so, it took her months to regain her abilities. This means that if pushed to a limit by enough energy, such as with the Power Stone, she can be overwhelmed. If Captain Marvel fights at her peak, she can also lose her abilities very quickly, as it drains her extremely fast. This makes one of Captain Marvel's most powerful abilities one of her most major hindrances. Another weakness of Captain Marvel is although her powers are cosmic in origin, she also has a distinct weakness to magic. In the comics, we have seen time and time again that Captain Marvel is incapable of absorbing magic-based attacks. What this means for characters in the MCU is that characters like Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch would have an easier time defeating Captain Marvel than others. Perhaps the most major of Carol Danvers' weaknesses in fact comes from her power yet again. In the comic books, for a time, her abilities were simply too much to cope with, and therefore she created a split personality. For a time, Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers were two completely different and distinct personalities. What Captain Marvel did on one night, Carol Danvers would not be able to recollect the next day. This leads directly into the next weakness. Previously in the comics, Carol Danvers has been extremely susceptible to brainwashing, possession, and mental manipulation. Basically, although she's extremely powerful physically, mentally she's not so much so. Again, based on this weakness, it seems a character like Scarlet Witch is tailor-made to defeat Captain Marvel. Again, as I said earlier, what makes the character of Captain Marvel so interesting is that many of her weaknesses stem from her greatest strengths. This was even hinted at by Kevin Feige for Captain Marvel, where he said this: "All of the Marvel characters have flaws to them. All of them have a deep humanity to them. With Captain Marvel, she is as powerful a character as we've ever put into a movie. Her powers are off the charts, and when she's introduced, she will be by far the strongest character we've ever had. It's important then to counterbalance that with someone who feels real. She needs to have a humanity to tap into, and Brie can do that." A lot of the conflict that comes with Carol Danvers is the fact that she's truly unfamiliar with how powerful she really is. This leaves her open to others taking control of that immense power and using it against her allies, mainly in the comics, the Avengers. In some regards, she's not dissimilar to the Hulk. I wouldn't be surprised at all if at some point in the future the Avengers have to face off against Captain Marvel. While she is one of the best, most loyal, and for sure one of the best leaders of the Avengers, she is also simultaneously one of the team's biggest threats. But those are just some of the weaknesses of Marvel's new most powerful superhero, Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel. But leave your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and are there any major weaknesses that I missed in this video? Also, what are you hoping to see most from Captain Marvel this March? Thank you guys as always so much for watching, subscribe to join the team, and have a great day.